Story. The Girl, the Tiger, and the Wolf. The forest was quiet that morning. A soft layer of mist hung low over the trees, curling between branches and settling on the damp earth. The sun had not yet climbed high, and the world seemed caught between night and day. In that stillness, only the sound of dripping water and the faint rustle of leaves broke the silence. Emily, a young girl of about 12, walked carefully along the narrow path that wound through the woods. She had taken this path many times before, but today she had wandered farther than she should have. In her small hands, she carried a basket filled with herbs and wildflowers. Her grandmother had asked her to collect them, and Emily, eager to please, had gone deeper into the forest without realizing how far she had strayed. At first, the woods seemed friendly. The air was cool and sweet, and birds sang softly above her. But as the minutes passed, the trees grew taller, their branches tangling overhead. The light dimmed. The birds fell silent. A sense of unease crept over her heart. Emily slowed her steps. She glanced behind her, but the path she had taken was no longer clear. The fog had thickened, blurring her way home. For the first time that morning, she felt truly alone. Her heartbeat quickened. She whispered to herself, "I just need to find the stream. If I find the stream, I can follow it back." Her voice sounded small in the great hush of the forest. She tried to be brave, but the silence pressed closer, as though the forest itself was holding its breath. Then, from somewhere deep among the trees, came a sound that froze her in place, a low, growling rumble. Emily's eyes widened. She turned her head slowly. Not far away, stepping out from the shadows, was a wolf. Its fur was dark and thick, streaked with silver. Its eyes glowed with a strange light, steady and watchful. The wolf did not move closer at first. It only stood, powerful and silent, staring at the trembling girl. Emily's breath caught in her throat. She wanted to run, but her legs felt heavy. Instead, she clutched her basket tightly, her fingers trembling against the handle. Before she could decide what to do, another sound cut through the air, a deep roar that rolled like thunder. Emily turned again, and from the opposite side of the clearing came a tiger. The tiger was magnificent, its golden coat marked with bold stripes, its muscles rippling beneath its skin. Its eyes, sharp and fierce, fixed on Emily with an intensity that made her knees weaken. The wolf growled again, and the tiger roared once more. Emily stood between them, her heart pounding like a drum. She thought it was the end. She thought, surely, one of them would strike. But then something unexpected happened. The wolf moved, circling closer, not toward Emily, but toward the tiger. The tiger lowered its head, ears back, muscles coiled. The two great beasts faced each other, their tension sharp as lightning in the air. Emily stood frozen, tears gathering in her eyes. And yet, neither attacked her. The wolf stepped in front of her, its body a shield. Its growl grew louder, deeper, directed at the tiger. The tiger, in turn, paced back and forth, its eyes flicking from the wolf to the girl, as though torn between hunger and something else, something older, more complicated. Emily could hardly breathe. She whispered, almost to herself, why are you protecting me?" The wolf did not answer, of course. But its presence was steady, firm. Suddenly, the tiger lunged, not at Emily, but at the wolf. The two collided with a crash that shook the ground. Snarls, roars, and the sound of claws tearing against fur filled the clearing. Emily stumbled back, covering her ears, her basket tumbling to the ground. She wanted to look away, but she could not. The fight was fierce. The tiger's power was unmatched, but the wolf was quick and clever, dodging and striking with surprising strength. Again and again they clashed, the forest echoing with their battle. Emily's tears streamed down her face. She wished she could help, but she was small, powerless. All she could do was watch and hope. Minutes passed, though they felt like hours. At last, the wolf drove the tiger back with a final, desperate leap. The tiger, panting and wounded, gave one last roar before retreating into the shadows of the forest. Its golden form disappeared among the trees, leaving only silence behind. The wolf stood trembling, its fur matted with blood, but still strong. Slowly, it turned to Emily. Their eyes met. In that gaze, Emily felt something she could not explain. The wolf was not merely an animal. It was something greater, a guardian, a spirit of the forest, perhaps. It had chosen to protect her, though it owed her nothing. She took a cautious step closer. Her small hand lifted, shaking. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice breaking. The wolf lowered its head. For a moment, it allowed her fingers to brush against its fur, rough, warm, alive. Then, with a final glance, it turned and padded silently into the mist, vanishing as if it had never been there at all. Emily stood alone in the clearing, her heart still racing, but a strange calm settling over her. She bent down, gathered her scattered herbs and flowers, and wiped her tears. The path behind her seemed clearer now, as though the forest itself had opened the way. She followed it, step by careful step, until at last she reached the edge of the woods. The village came into view, small cottages, smoke rising gently from chimneys, the familiar sound of voices carrying on the breeze. When she reached home, her grandmother rushed to her, wrapping her in trembling arms. "Emily, where have you been? I was so worried." Emily held her tightly, burying her face against her shoulder. "I was lost," she whispered, "but I wasn't alone." That night, as she lay in bed, she thought again of the wolf and the tiger. She thought of the way the wolf had stood in front of her, fearless and unyielding. She thought of the tiger's roar fading into the trees. The forest was still dangerous, she knew. But it also held mysteries beyond her understanding, mysteries that had saved her life. Emily closed her eyes, her lips curving into a small, tired smile. Somewhere out there, under the same moon, the wolf was watching still. And for the first time, she felt safe. Dash dash dash.